Hey, what's up everyone? Sir Cardinal back with another video. In this video, I am going to give my predictions on the top 10 quarterbacks who will have great touchdown seasons for the up and coming season. So let's get right into the first one, ladies and gentlemen. Number 10 on my list, I have Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson had a really strong year. He had a big target in DeAndre Hopkins last year. I think that's going to continue into this season. And they do have some options in the backfield with Duke Johnson being added and their secondary receiver corps of Kiki Cote, if he's healthy. He's had some injury issues in his first couple of years in the NFL, but I think Kiki Cote could be a game breaker for Deshaun Watson. You also have Will Fuller in the wide receiver position and your tight end of Jordan Thomas. I think these guys are going to put up some serious numbers, especially DeAndre Hopkins. He's arguably one of the best wide receivers in all of football, but I do strongly believe that Deshaun Watson, if he is protected this season, will put up some big numbers again. I have him projected at probably about 30 touchdowns this year. So that's what I'm going to predict for number 10 on my list, Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans. Number 9 on my list is no other than Kirk Cousins. Cousins is an excellent quarterback. He seems like he's getting better. He did have a little bit of a down year, it seemed, in his first year with the Minnesota Vikings. But he has some great options with Delvin Cook being an all-around type back. I could see Delvin Cook getting close to double figures in touchdown passes from the backfield. You also have Stephon Diggs. You have Adam Thielen, you have Kyle Rudolph. You have so many pieces for Kirk Cousins to grow off on. I'm going to predict Kirk Cousins will have about 31 touchdown passes. He could get anywhere between 4,000 and 4,300 yards passing yards this year. But I expect bigger things from Kirk Cousins. I think he will rank at about 9th on my predictions, but I think Kirk Cousins will have a pretty strong season with those weapons. That's probably one of the best all-around offenses in all of the NFL with all those key pieces. I think Kirk Cousins could break out this year, and I'm looking forward to watching and seeing what the Minnesota Vikings do in the up-and-coming season. Number 8 on my list, we have Aaron Rodgers. Arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks to play in this game. Yes, he hasn't won all the Super Bowls and everything like that. Yes, he has taken a beating physically in the last couple of years, and his offensive weapons have really decreased. You do have Devontae Adams, who had a really strong year last year and arguably was their best receiver last season. But other than that, you have Geronimo Allison, who is a no-name guy that I've never really heard of. And then you have Marquise Valdes-Scantling, who could be decent for Aaron Rodgers. And you also have Jimmy Graham, the veteran tight end. And your running back, you have Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams catching passes from the backfield. I expect Aaron Rodgers to do Aaron Rodgers type things. And if that means he takes a little bit of a step back this year, but I still have him projected at about the same type of touchdowns as he did last year. I have him at 32 for the up-and-coming season. You can't really knock his offense ability. Aaron Rodgers is fun to watch, but I think he's going to be about the same or maybe a little bit less in the touchdowns this year. He is getting older and just not enough marquee weapons as he had in years past, but I still look forward to seeing what Aaron Rodgers can do. When he throws in the air, it's always fun to watch, but I have Aaron Rodgers right now ranked number 8. Next up on my list, we have Philip Rivers of the Los Angeles Chargers, ladies and gentlemen. I think he has a lot of pieces. He lost a couple of pieces, but Philip Rivers is one of those quarterbacks that just gets the job done when need be. There's no Antonio Gates to protect him with those little dump passes and those little long little mini bombs that he used to do to Gates back in the day. But I still think Philip Rivers will be a decent quarterback. If you guys can get re-signed Melvin Gordon, he'll catch some touchdown passes from the backfield. But you have Keenan Allen coming into a free agent year. I think he is going to want to put up some massive numbers to get a big-time contract from the Chargers coming up next offseason. You also have Travis Benjamin and you have Mike Williams there as well. And your tight end now is Virgil Green. I think Philip Rivers will have enough options to get him to another 30 plus touchdown plateau this year. I predict he will get about 33 on my paper that I'm looking at. I think he will be just fine. The Chargers are going to have a heck of a year. They could win the AFC West this year, but I expect Phillip Rivers to do big things. And they play a couple of teams this year that aren't very good. They go to Miami. So I think he could have a field day by throwing the ball. And I think he's going to have a lot of touchdowns this year. And it's going to be exciting to see what Phillip Rivers could do for sure this up and coming season. Next up on my list, we have probably one of the deepest rosters in all of football. And I think he might take a step back because who knows what this team's going to do come next season. But I have Jared Goff of the Los Angeles Rams ranking out at number 6 on my list. He has arguably one of the best wide receivers in all of football, all around him, all marquee names, all big names that could do damage when they get the ball. You have Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, ladies and gentlemen, and then also a gentleman who tore his ACL last season in Cooper Kupp, but he has been an absolute beast in the offseason, trying to rehab to get that knee back to 100%, and he's been doing very well. And I've been hearing people talking about his nutrition. He's been doing excellent work with the rehab, and he looks to be hungry for the up-and-coming season. And you also have Tyler Higbee at tight end as well, and not to mention you have arguably one of the best running backs in all of football in Todd Gurley. So I think Jared Goff could take a little bit of a step back. I don't know if the Rams are going to be the same type of team they were last year, but if he is on, I can see him being at around 33 touchdown passes, 34 maybe max. But Jared Goff is a very good quarterback, but we'll see if that luck he had from last year carries over into the season. But I still think Jared Goff is going to be one hell of a quarterback come this season, and it's going to be fun to see all those guys healthy. I'm really curious to see what Cooper Kupp does this season. And next up on my list, we have, and this is going to be a little bit of an iffy one. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be a little bit of an iffy one. But I still think you never know with this guy. We'll see what happens. But we got Carson Wentz of the Philadelphia Eagles. If he's healthy, this man can throw mega touchdowns. He's done it when he was healthy, but the only concern is his back and his ACL. I think the ACL is finally going to be okay, but the back is my more concern moving forward into this NFL season. You added a new running back in Jordan Howard, who was pretty decent in the backfield with the Bears last year. You have Alshon Jeffrey. Deshaun Jackson returns to the Eagles, and those two hooked up quite frequent when he was back with the Eagles back before he went to Washington and all those other teams he went to. But I think Deshaun Jackson is going to be a key piece for Carson Wentz. If healthy, he will throw the bomb, and all Deshaun has to do is outrun his defenders, and it's going to be a touchdown every single time. Then you also have Nelson Aguilar, who is a decent wide receiver. I remember calling a game of the Eagles, and he was quite good in the outside position. And plus, you have arguably one of the top tight ends in all of football in Zach Ertz. Also could get double figures in touchdowns. But I have Carson Wentz right now pegged at about 31 touchdowns. But like I said, it all depends if he can stay healthy. Carson Wentz is one of the marquee quarterbacks at throwing touchdowns, and I think he should have a good year, barring any setbacks. Or if he is good from the hop, he could be good. The Eagles are going to be a very good, strong team this year, so I hope Carson Wentz stays healthy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does come in the new year. Next up, we have arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks in all of football, ladies and gentlemen, future Hall of Famer. We have Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints. He lost a couple of pieces in the offseason. He lost one of his big running backs in Mark Ingram to the Baltimore Ravens this offseason, but you arguably have one of the greatest wide receivers in this game. This time around, we have Michael Thomas, arguably going to be getting his touchdowns. He is paid handsomely, so I expect Brees and Thomas to hook up quite often. You also have Alvin Kamara in the backfield who could catch some passes. He'll probably get close to double figures, hopefully, for the upcoming season. You have Jared Cook, and you just signed Ted Ginn Jr., who could be a sleeper this year for fantasy owners. I think Ted Ginn could fit in this offense quite nicely, And I think Drew Brees is going to put up Drew Brees numbers. He's the only quarterback in NFL history to throw multiple 5,000-yard receiving yards, but his touchdown production is lights out, year in, year out. And I'm going to project Brees at about 30. I think he might take a little step back, but with this offense, I think they'll be just fine. But I have Drew Brees ranked number 4 for the 4th most touchdown passes thrown this season. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Drew Brees, this could be his final year, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm excited to see what he can do with this team. Also, next up on the list at number 3, we got Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons. This guy can throw for days, ladies and gentlemen. He has arguably one of the greatest wide receivers in this game today in Julio Jones. He is looking for a new contract. He is going to be paid probably by week 1. He's going to be probably arguably the highest paid wide receiver in all of football. But Julio Jones is the guy that Matt Ryan loves to throw the football to. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these two do this season. You have Mohamed Sanu, who is a decent number 2 wide receiver. And you also have Calvin Ridley also to complement Matt Ryan. And you also have Devonta Freeman, who is also a good catch running back in the backfield as well. And your tight end is Austin Hooper, who is not that bad. Also, he could be a very good piece for Matt Ryan. But Matt Ryan is arguably one of the best quarterbacks for touchdown passes. He throws for yards, and he is one hell of a talent. So I think this year, Matt Ryan could possibly throw 33 to 35 touchdown passes to give him the 3rd most in this year's season. But I look forward to seeing what Matt Ryan can do this season. I'm saying that for every quarterback. I'm excited. I'm invested in seeing what these guys are doing since I'm making this prediction video on touchdown passes for the season. So I want to see what Matt Ryan does. I'm going to be writing these down. I'm going to see how many they have, and I'm going to see how well I did compared to my predictions. But this is going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. And that brings me up to number 2 on my list. And I think this man is going to be lights out. The team looks different. You made some big time moves. And that quarterback is Baker Mayfield of the Cleveland Browns. I think Baker is going to have an outstanding year. I think he is going to throw till his arm is numb and he can't throw no more. I think this offense is absolutely dynamite around Baker Mayfield. You have Nick Chubb in the backfield who can catch some passes from there. You have Jarvis Landry, 2nd year with Baker Mayfield. I think those two could hook up for multiple touchdowns this year. You have Odell Beckham Jr., traded for in the offseason by the New York Giants. I think Odell Beckham could get some very, very big numbers this year. I think this could be a career year for Odell Beckham Jr. And then you have David Njoku, the tight end as well. And I think this team is just scary. You have a lot of talented wide receivers. You got 2 guys that played in college together at LSU in Landry and Beckham. So those guys are going to be sharing the ball. I think there's going to be all love here. Baker has many, many options, and I think he is going to have a breakout year this year. He could be in the MVP conversation. It's possible with this type of offense that he has. He just needs to be protected, and I think they have arguably one of the best offensive lines to protect Baker. If he doesn't take sacks, this guy's going to be throwing for days. I see the shotgun formation every single snap whenever he's throwing the ball. So I think Baker Mayfield is going to have a career year this year. I'm projecting him to throw 35 touchdown passes this season. And I think this is only the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Baker Mayfield is a really good quarterback. This year will be awesome. And I'm really, really excited to see what this team does this year. They could be a playoff team for the first time since they got back to Cleveland. And this is great for their fans. I'm excited for them. And I'm really excited to see what Baker does. I drafted him in my fantasy team, so I'm hoping he puts up mega yards and mega touchdowns. So it's going to be fun. But this goes to my final one, and obviously you guys probably know who this is. I do believe he is going to break 40 this year, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Patrick Mahomes. Last year, Patrick Mahomes, the MVP of the league, was absolutely filthy by throwing so many touchdown passes. This year, he has a little bit of a different squad in front of him, but he has Damian Williams in the backfield. Tyreek Hill, once he is ready to go, he will be inserted back. He was a primetime player last year for Mahomes. You have Sammy Watkins, who was great, and then you also have McCole Hardman, who could get the job done come this season. And arguably, you have the number one tight end in all of football with Travis Kelce. I think these two are going to hook up for 15 to maybe 18 touchdown passes. If they want to be that combo, they are going to be scary good together this year. And like I said, I think Patrick Mahomes will throw 40 touchdown passes this season, ladies and gentlemen. I think he is the real deal. He gets better and better. I hope he doesn't take a step back for this year, but all he does is throw the football. He can scramble, he can run, and when people think he's going to run, he flings it off to the side. He's off balance. He's making all these wild throws, but he gets the job done. He gets the ball to the end zone, and I think Patrick Mahomes will break 40 touchdowns this season. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There is my top 10 on who I think will be the leading touchdown passers in all of football. Hopefully you guys like this video. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think is your top 10, or who's going to be the best quarterback for throwing touchdowns in the comment section. I love reading that stuff, so hopefully you guys make some comments for me. And as always, guys, leave that like button. And I'll see you guys in a video really, really soon. I'm working on some stuff. I'm going to be doing some wide receivers, some running backs, rushing yards, touchdowns. And we're also going to try to do some team predictions for every NFL franchise in future videos. All right, guys. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys real soon. Cardinal out.